This is Dabu 7, and we have Texas Governor Greg Abbott declaring an emergency to ban sanctuary cities inside of Texas. Now, there were many people cheering, and he received a standing ovation as he addressed a joint session of legislature. And he basically said that this session is where we will ban sanctuary cities. And he went on to talk about the sweeping reforms needed here in Texas's troubled child protection system. Now, in regards to the sanctuary cities, in regards to Texas, I want to remind folks that it has been stances in the past that have been made that I believe has caused false flag staged events to happen. The shootings and other things that have took place there, they happen in areas often when the leadership there seems to be veering away from the establishment's wants and needs. Kind of like we told you so, a way to check them and to pull something off in their backyard. A good explanation, or a good way to explain that a little bit better is, for instance, there was a sheriff on the Pacific Northwest that was talking about Sandy Hook, and he was adamant about his views on that. And next thing you know, there was a massive false flag in his own backyard. Pulled off without his knowledge or anything that he was told in advance about, and they made the whole thing out to make him look weak and as a conspiracy nut and all this other stuff. And these are the tactics they would do to try to dismantle someone and discredit them if you do not go with their flow. And Abbott had his encounters with Obama, and Texas had talk of leaving the United States. The same thing you're seeing with California right now as they're talking about seceding from the states, which is a whole other conversation. If that was to happen, it could make all types of different things pan out way different, and it's a whole other story in itself. But with this, in the Mexican border there with Texas, we've seen some things in Brownsville. Just talked about the facility down there that they're planning on using to house illegals. Also, on the other side, in Mexico, the caches of RPGs and weapons. How about the foreign minister of Mexico just a couple days ago on national television stating that if the ties between Mexico and the alphabet gangs fall apart, well, for years they've been holding back all kinds of drug lords from doing all types of stuff that's all heading to America, and that they simply won't do it anymore. An open-ended threat in so many words that they will just let the cartels come across the border and not stop them, not put any checks and balance. Just let them roam freely. And right now, you're not seeing it on the news, but down by Tijuana and in Baja, there have been massive drug clashes between these cartels over power and everything that's going on. And I can't help but feel that the moment they start to implement building a wall, that it's going to come under attack. Things are going to heat up. And I think that that wall may spark them really attacking, and you seeing the first waves of a war front here in this country coming from right there. And hell, there's been mercenaries and militants from the boogeyman in Mexico this whole time, in camps, training individuals. They know all this stuff. Why haven't they taken them out? Why? Oh, Donald Trump told us because Obama is the founder of it all, and they created it. And they're funding both sides of the war. Yet no one wants to ever talk about that on the mainstream media, do they? Nope. So Abbott's making this call, and I can't help but feel that it puts Texas back in the crosshairs, bigger than ever. And being right there on the border, it's been said, you can take Texas. If you can take Texas, you can take the belly of the United States and advance your way in. It would be huge. So it's a spot that needs to be well defended by the people, not by federales, by the people. People need to wake up to what's going on here. There's a difference in having migrants come to this country legally and illegals coming here and sucking you of everything in the system. Reminder, I said illegals. And if you're supporting illegals, what is wrong with you? Because you can't go to another country and get a job and do any of that crap either, unless you do it legally, unless you're trying to support something illegal. You see? And there's a big difference there. And it doesn't help when the mainstream media just throws gasoline on the fire with lies and spreads this whole thing and tries to gear it all toward racism and Muslim ban and blow things out of proportion, twist them. And when you have George Soros and his goons on the ground, MoveOn.org, at all these airports, it's the same thing. Adding fuel to the fire. And you're going to continue to see this because they done warned the first 100 days that Trump's in office, it's a full court press to bring chaos to the streets of America. Said it again. I'll continue to say it. People need to remain vigilant. But I can't help but feel that that southern border is going to become a massive target now. And as soon as the wall goes up, it's just going to be something for someone to try and come knock down or punch a hole through or do something to prove a point. And that could be the beginning of escalations, in my opinion, that we would see. Now, where do you go from there? Well, really, the alphabet gangs monitor that border, and let's be real about it. The flow of drugs and everything else that comes in this country is monitored by them. Okay, another thing the mainstream media doesn't ever want to talk about. Okay, this goes all the way back to the Bush administrations, them bringing it all in from Burma. That's how it gets here, or else it wouldn't be here. The whole war on drugs is fraudulent. Okay? This is why you've seen the heroin epidemic explode here. And to me, it's also targeting our young people, men and women. People that, in other words, would be troops against this beast. It's just another way to wipe people out, kill them in the streets. And unfortunately, heroin is a tool that they're using in mass right now. And when they got control of the influence of the cartels in Mexico, and they've got control of the poppy fields in Afghanistan. Yeah. Do you see who the drug lords are? And I can't help but think that with all this tension with the border, there's clashes going down right now. The Sinaloa cartel being one of the major cartels. Now they have El Chapo in custody. This is a man that put a death threat on Donald Trump's head, remind you. Okay? And now they're holding him in New York, which was one of his biggest havens for funneling money and drugs. So you can only wonder how much support does he have there. And if there ever was to be a day, for whatever reason, that El Chapo was moved out of there and closer to the border, you better watch out. Because something's in the works, and it's a staged mess, and it's to go along with the show of chaos in this country, in my opinion. You need not fall for it, folks. But that's some of the latest here in regards to the border, what Abbott's saying. Important to keep track of the moves being made here. I will continue to update with more information as I come across it. I'll leave a link below. And until next time, this has been Dabu7. And also, check out a full list that I have here of sanctuary cities by state. Much love.